Hey y'all, it's Mr. Smith. In this video, we're going to go through the Math 1 Unit 2 Mid Study Guide. In this video, we're just going to go through 1 through 4. 1 through 4 is just basic system of equations, just making sure you have the skill to solve it. So here we see we have two equations, and we need to solve the system. Remember, there's three major methods. Solve the system by graphing, you can solve by elimination, or you can solve by substitution. Since we already have a value solved for, the easiest method would probably be to use substitution. So since J is already by itself, I'm going to use that as my key, and everywhere I see J in this equation, I will put negative 6k minus 24. So I'm going to rewrite this equation as I have 7k minus 2, and I ran into my J. So instead of J, I'm going to put negative 6k minus 24. So negative 6k minus 24. Remember, anytime you substitute, it's a good habit to go ahead and put in parentheses. And then after the J, we have equals negative 9. So I'm going to write equals negative 9. Then after that, we just solve the system. So from here, the first thing that we should recognize is that we can distribute. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 2. Even though this is a minus, it is attached to the 2. So we're going to go ahead and distribute that. So we get 7k. Negative times a negative is a positive, so we have plus 12k. Negative times a negative is a positive 48. And then we have our equals negative 9 on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. So we have positive 7k plus 12k is 19k plus 48 is equal to negative 9. We need to get k by itself. So that means the 48 needs to move before we move the 19. So I'm going to subtract 48. And we get negative 57. And then all we have to do is divide both sides by 19k. So we divide this side by 19, divide this side by 19. So we get k on this side. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. And I know 19 can go into 57 3 times. So we have k is equal to negative 3. Now luckily in this problem, we don't need to find out what j is, because they only ask for the value of k. So we can stop there. I'm going to write my negative 3, bubble in my negative sign, and then bubble in my 3. And let's go on to problem number 2. Slide this over. So in problem number 2, I would probably actually use elimination. Just because when I look at it, they're both in the semi-standard form. So I have my x's, my y's, my equal, and my constants line up. So I would just try to eliminate either my x or my y. When I look at it, I would try to eliminate my y because it has a coefficient of 5. Excuse me, a coefficient of 1, which is easy to change. So I'm going to multiply the entire top equation by 5. When I do that, I'll get 20x, 5 times y, I get plus 5y, and then 5 times negative 19 will give me negative 95. Cool? Any questions? Alright, so now when I look at it, I can see that my y values will easily eliminate. So now all I have to do is figure out, do I add these or do I subtract them? And hopefully we all recognize that in order for a positive and a negative 5 to cancel, we have to add them together. So now we have 20x plus negative 7x, which is a positive 13x. A negative and a positive become 0. And then we have 17 plus negative 95. Remember, they're opposite signs. So which one is going to be bigger? obviously the negative, and then we have 95 and 17. So I'm going to work this out. Since the opposite signs, we're really subtracting them. I'm going to go through this because I know some of you have difficulties with this. So we have minus 17, which means we need to borrow because that 5 will not subtract in there. We get 15. And then we get 8 because 15 minus 7 is 8. And then 8 minus 1 is 7. So this is going to be negative 78. And then we divide both sides by 13. So we get x is equal to, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. We just got to figure out how many times 78 goes into 13. I'm going to try 6. So I'm going to double check it off here on the side. It says it's 8. 6 times 1, 6. 78 works out perfect, so I know it's negative 6. But it says, what's the value of 3y? So we know what x is, but we have to go back to figure out what y is. So we can plug this negative 6 into either equation. So I'm going to plug it into the first one. So I'm going to rewrite it. So we have 4x plus y is equal to negative 19. We'll substitute the negative 6 right there. So we get 4 times negative 6 plus y is equal to negative 19. 4 times negative 6 will give me negative 24. And then we just add the 24 on both sides. I wrote 5 there, I'm sorry. And we can see y is equal to 5. Again, they're opposite signs. This time the positive number is bigger, so my answer is going to be positive. And if you do 24 minus 19, you will get 5. But the question is, what is the value of 3y? So that means we have to actually multiply our answer, which is 3 times 5, because we know y is 5, and 3 times 5 is 15. And then we just bubble in 1 and 5. One thing that you'll notice, I typically never fill in this first column. The reason for that is if I go back and check my answer and I'm missing a negative, I don't have to erase anything on the EOC. I can just put my little negative sign there. Just a good habit to go ahead and continue with. So let's go and look at problem number 3. So on problem number 3, it's kind of set up the same way. So we have our standard form, our semi-standard form, equals line up y, x, and our constant. So I'm going to use pretty much the same method that we used before, elimination. What do you think would be the easiest thing to eliminate? Hopefully you said the y's. In order to eliminate the y's, what do we need to do? And hopefully you said multiply this first equation by 3. So multiply this one by 3. When we do that, we get 3 times 3. So we get 9x, 3 times y. So we have a positive 3y. And 3 times 6 is 18. And to eliminate these, we have to subtract. So 2 minus 9 is negative 7x. 3 minus 3 is 0. 18 minus 18 is 0. And we just continue solving. So we have to get x by itself, so divide by negative 7, and we get x is equal to 0. A lot of people will freak out because they have a 0 there. Don't freak out, it's alright. Just keep solving your equation. We can actually stop here because it says what is the value of x, and we have it already. So I'm going to put my 0 here and bubble in my 0, and we're done with that problem. And let's go ahead and do the last one on this video. So this is problem number 4. So in this one, it looks very similar to problem number 1, where we have an equation solved for y is already by itself. So it'll probably be easiest to use substitution. So this time we have y equals, and everywhere I see y in the second equation, so as I go through this, here's my y. Everywhere I see that y, I'm going to substitute and 6 minus 9. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my second equation, which is negative 6x, and then I have plus 7, and then I ran into my y. So again, instead of putting y, I'm going to put my 6x minus 9, and then I'm going to continue on. After the y, I have equals 9, so I write equals 9. And then from here, I just solve it. So we have negative 6x plus, and remember right here we're going to distribute. So we have a positive 7 that we're distributing. So 7 times 6 is 42x. 7 times negative 9 is minus 63. We combine our like terms, so we have negative 6x and we have 42x. That will give us a 36x. Opposite signs, largest is going to be positive. Break down the rest of it. Then we'll add 63 on both sides, and we will get 72 on that side, and we have 36. I'm sorry, I think I was 36x. We divide both sides by 36, and we get x is equal to 2. So now we know that x is 2, and if we can find out what y is, we will have our solution. So in order to do that, we substitute this 2 back into either one of these equations. Hopefully we realize that this is probably the easier equation to substitute it into. So y is equal to 6x minus 9. So y is equal to 6 times 2 minus 9. 6 times 2 is 12. And then 12 minus 9 is 3. So now we know y is 3. And what is 2 plus 3? It is 5. So our answer will be 5. Hopefully this will help you get ready for your test. If you have any questions, please feel free to look back over this video.